Hello, everyone. I'm Prika, guitarist and singer of Nervosa. So I'm here to remind you that 29th of September, we have a new album coming out, Jailbreak. So stay tuned in our social medias and everything. We have the links and everything coming there. Many news coming the next days. So yes, sending greetings here to John the Ninja.
Ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? It's John the Ninja live in the dojo, aka the Dojing, aka the John the Ninja Studios. I have a person I've been following for a long time, but I didn't really know I would get the opportunity to speak with her. She is the queen of my favorite metal style of genre, aka thrash metal. A little about this wonderful shredder. She started playing when she was 14. Her father had an acoustic in the house, and she is self-taught, but she chose the instrument of guitar because she said it felt natural. And being influenced by the Jeff Hannemans, the Jimi Hendrix, the Iomis, the great Dimebag Darrells, bands like Obituary, Sepultura, Vader, Slayer, Sabbath, all the goodies. They inspired her to play in her native Brazil, but it was Seek and Destroy, which was the riff that really gravitated her to the thrash and the death metal. But she is passionate about bikes and she's passionate about painting. But thankfully for us, she's a musician. Her first band was an all-female band. I believe it was Caston. I might be saying it wrong, like I said, Brazil. But she did a little bit of punk singing, but she stuck to her roots, going out and playing with a bunch of other bands before she finally found her band, Nervosa. Now, Nervosa has earned its place in not only the thrash and death metal scene, but all over the world. Their current lineup is of Miss Prika Amaral on vocals and guitar, Helena Continent on guitar, Hel Prida on bass, and Michaela Nayadova. I'm sorry, ladies, if I butchered the names, but she's on drums. Their last album, Perpetual Chaos, has been streamed over 2 million times on Spotify, and it secured them positions in not only German, but the United States top Billboard charts. With having played all over with Summer Breeze, Waken, this band is here to stay. The band's lineup, even though different from the original, has never seen more support. And just like she said, she's just a girl trying to keep her dream alive. And in doing so, she's creating the dream to be a musician for women all over the world. So, ladies and gentlemen, even with the new video coming out Wednesday, we got lucky. We're here to promote the brand new album Jailbreak for Nervosa, which is out September 29th. Ladies and gentlemen, very blessed and fortunate to have Miss Prika of Nervosa. Mademoiselle, how are you?
Fine. Thank you for the introduction. You work correctly with everything, all the information. Really, thank you so much to give this opportunity to talk a bit what we are doing.
Absolutely. Amina, before we even get into the music, I heard that you are a fan of the book 1984. And a lot of people, I like that book, but a lot of people don't tend to go that way. So I was curious, well, when did you read that? Like, what about that book just stuck with you?
Look, I'm not so good reader because I have a problem with attention. Probably I have like a ADHD, this kind of things. And for me, it was always a huge sacrifice to read a book. But I remember when I was in a punk band and I was like into this scene because it was the strongest scene in my city, example. The metal scene, it was important scene, but the punk was bigger. And I had a lot of friends that was into this kind of things. And I started to study new stuff, like I was into anarchy, like fascinated with this punk world, with punk vibes and ideologies and these kind of things. And I remember a friend of mine present this book, and I was really curious. And I took like a 1 year probably to read the book. I was able to read like a 1 page, 2 page maximum per day. It was really the problem with attention. I was trying to read more. I was reading, but the things was not getting in my mind. It was really hard. But well, it was a book that I read it and I never forget it. And it was one of the only books I could read to the end. And I really love George Orwell, example. And I have other books from him. And I don't know the translation of the title, Animal Farm.
Yep, perfect.
Yes, I love this book too, and I read this one. And he's for me, it's a genius. The way that he think and percepting everything around. Like he had a really special vision, and I really love it. It inspired me like to write the lyrics, with always resisting, protesting about the things, complaining, never like a big conformative, not never accepting something that it's not good enough. So this inspired me.
Love your story, but it's also one where, you actually were in São Paulo. You came, it was just you and your guitar, but you had a really well paying job before everything kicked off. And I was curious, like, what was that job? We all understand that need to go and pursue our dreams, but I really wanted to try and catch, like, where were you in the scheme of, like, this is my opportunity, I gotta go. Was it looking really good for you to go be a musician and you said, you know what, this is the opportunity? Or was it kind of a situation where it's like, the security is more with the money, but I want to do this? Could you take us back to that decision?
For me, I always want to be a musician. Like since I was able to understand that there was a professional career of musician, I say I want that. But we know that it's very hard, mainly for the people that came from Latin America, because to be professional there in any area, it's very hard. But musician is like almost impossible. So, but I will say I will find a way. But of course, the example, I did a university for, I don't know the translation actually for the English word, but it's like a administration management for companies, this kind of things, like administration with financial stuff. I did a lot of courses and university of this, and I say, okay, this will be my plan B, because one day, whatever I want to do, I need to know how to manage, you know. So I did this university, and I could get some kind of a big discount because I did a proof and it went very well, and it was very hard thing to get, and I could get. And then I start to work in a bank in a very good position, earning a lot of money there with all the benefits, like health insurance, like dentist, insurance, and gasoline ticket, and everything was insane. I was enjoying the people, the money, but it was not myself, it was not my life. I was understanding that experience was happening to me for some reason, but I was feeling that this was not for myself, and I was understanding that this would be a very quick part of my life, and this was what happened.
Yeah.
And Nervosa started to be with a lot of opportunity, and it was basically not possible to have both together. And I understood, like, okay, I have to kick everything that I conquer out, like a good job. My university that was in the last year, and I say, okay, I'm pretty close to 30 years old. If I stop, I know if I want to come back to this, it will be very hard, because once you are out like 2 years from the market, it's very hard to come back. And example, to come back to university, I have like 6 years to come back to finish. Otherwise, I have to start everything at the beginning. So I left everything behind without to look back. Basically, I said, if I will give this step, I will not look behind. So this is what I did. I invested absolutely everything. If I start this, I will invest everything that I can. And I did. And actually, this was one of the reasons why everything worked well, It's not like a good opportunity. It's not only talent. It's like how much effort you put there.
To know that part of the story, mira, los negocios de la estudia, it's like, yo, that probably helped with the band. Pero when I look at the time, you moved out, you went from Brazil all the way over to Europe, and not only is it a restart of the band again, but now you also have the coronavirus, you have the shock of okay, I'm in a different land. Even if it's the language barrier, it's not home. You have to kind of adapt and get, lucky to feeling it. The thing that I always go back on is you had a moment where when you created the hashtag Nervosa Never Dies, and you said it was because of the support of everybody, texting in, messaging like, hey, listen, we need this. Please don't let it go. Very heartfelt messages. I was curious, before those messages started coming in and everything, was there a point where you were like, this might be it? Or were you still just kind of driven like, no, no, this is, you just knew you had to continue? Where were you before you finally put your foot down and said, nope, regroup, let's go?
It never passing through my mind or my thoughts to give up, example, to leave Nervosa behind or stop to do music or whatever. Because as I said before, once I said I will be the musician and I'm sacrificing big things behind, I say I will not give any step back. And also, I know like 1,000 girls in the world that super talent and super able to play and do nice things. Example, like every single person, every single girl that made part of Nervosa are special in somehow. They are unique, but there's anyone in the world that it's unsubstitutable. Like this is ego thing that this doesn't exist, to be honest. It's like a different thing. As I said, it's unique. I'm not trying to substitute someone doing the same. It's doing different thing, like respecting the roots of the band. But there is so much talent, girls. And I say the people in the end wants to listen good music, like all the respect with the history of the band. I'm grateful for everyone that passing through that helped this band, because it was not my only job, or not for myself only, but for all the girls that passing through Nervosa. Every single contribution counted, and it's part of the everything that we have now. But it's something like the world is full of talent people. It's like just to choose the correct people. That's why I'm having problem with the lineups, example, because they are nice person, but they are not the correct person to be in Nervosa. For many personal reasons that I respect. There is nothing wrong with the girls, but they have her personal reasons and her personal lives, example, that we have to respect it, but they are not the correct people to be in Nervosa. That's why they leave. So yes, it's a constantly looking for, that the people that have the same possibility and to put the same effort, so it's something that I think all the bands is passing through. That's why some bands disappear or stop or just fall down, because they stop before some months because one of the members can't work in the band, because they are passing through some personal reasons or whatever. And this timing that we lose change the life of the band sometimes. So that's why sometimes change members, it's better than keep them in the band and make them stop with the band and kill the band.
Just thinking about that Facebook post you put out, just like how much you've struggled and sacrificed, and that's kind of the idea. People really don't know what it takes. If you can get a band that even, hey, we recorded something, that's almost lightning in a bottle right there. It's the success and the hard work through all those years. Let's hop on to Jailbreak, because now you decided you're gonna not change vocalists. You're gonna take over again and play at the same time. And your good friend Mayara, is that correct? She pretty much, she said you already knew how to sing, but she fine tuned your abilities. You could already scream, but I was curious when it comes to, creating the new songs and learning. You're already thinking a two guitar mind when you play these songs, but what were some of the adjustments you physically had to do when playing? Was it more difficult on some songs to try and sing and play at the same time? Did you learn a little bit more about the voice muscles in your, learn something about yourself about that? Could you walk us through that challenge, as you like to put it, and what was the most gratifying part of that journey?
it was not like from the zero, because I was already backing vocal example in Nervosa for all of these years. But I was like specializing in low vocals, only low. But to be singer, only low in a thrash metal band, it's like it's not working, you know. I need to open my mind and be better and do some kind of notes and just for the album not, you know, be bored to listen just with one tone or one thing. And but also I had a vision example because I participate in the production of the previous album example, Perpetual Chaos. So I produced it and I composed some vocal lines also. So, and during the Nervosa Life example, since the beginning, since the first album, I composed some vocal lines. And our demo example, the song Time of Death, is a song that I wrote the lyric and composed the vocal lines. The song Death, it's a song that I composed the lyric and I composed the vocal lines. So it was something that I was already inside of me, you know, I was putting it out, but it was not trusting myself as a singer, was not seeing myself as a singer. When the situation happened, I forced myself, like, go and practice. And so my concern was like what the singers had opportunity to learn and be ready for years and years, I have to do in 2 months. This was make me feel like very insecure, you know, and with a lot of anxiety and in fear, you know. But I say, okay, if I think so much about it, and then I can't do it, you know. So I say, don't think about it, just do what you need to do. And when I start to talk with Mayara Puerta, as example, she was teaching me, and she teach me in 4 classes, only 4 classes, how to unlock the other frequencies doing the technique that I use. And she was great. She opened my mind, and we have a lot of conversation about warm-ups, take care about ourselves. The most important thing to keep the voice healthy and these kind of things. And then I was practicing. But when I start to record example, I was jamming because I was just feeling what the music was asking and put it out, you know. And it was amazing, and I'm still learning a lot of things. Every show I try different things, I do different things, so I still have a lot of things to show to the people as well, and I can't wait for the next album to show everything that I've learned since the recording till now.
But just seeing some of the live shows you guys have done from this prior tour, man, it's flawless to me. That's what I would say, because a lot of people wouldn't notice the little intricacies, and I'm like, I'm not seeing no issues. Homegirl's on it. She's got this locked down. Uh, just from a personal fanboy question, place of mind, you got to have Gary Holt on the album, and I know you're just as much as a fan. He gave me the funniest Slayer moment of my life, which doesn't even go together, Slayer and funny. But I was just curious, considering that Bonded by Blood was such an inspirational, album for you. You love that riff, and just because of the pandemic, everything aligned for him to be able to come on the album and record. I wanted to know, what was it like directing him for what you wanted him to do on the album for When the Truth Is a Lie? What was it like telling him, this is what we're going for? Do you think you can do this? And what was his response? What was that back and forth? Because now it's not like you're a fan. Now you're equals.
This is a dream come true, just to start this conversation. And it was insane to have him on this album. I feel like completely, man. And I feel really happy, mainly for this album, that it's the album that has the biggest meaning for me. And it was like we were looking for some songs to have participation. And when he accepted our invitation, we say like this song, because this song has a lot of Slayer vibes, but also there is something from Exodus there too. But we were seeing like something totally Slayer there. And when we sent to him, we say like the solo, we were thinking to put the solo in this part, but feel free if you want to put the solo or other things in other parts, just we gave a direction where we were seeing the solo, and actually he saw as well, and he sent the solo for us, and we put there. And when we listened for the first time, we almost cried, man. It was like, I remember me, Elena, and the producer, we was like, man, this is happening. Look, this is genius. Again. We like the day in the studio was dead in that moment. Like we were listening and partying. Like, yes, look this again. I think we listened this song like 30 times in a row, actually. It was crazy.
And I can only imagine, that's like when you meet somebody you look up to for so long, that adrenaline rush. When I listened to the fragments of what I could gain of the album, because this album is protected, people. They're not playing around. You're getting the singles and nothing else. No leaks, no nothing. They're doing it right. But for me, Endless Ambition seemed to be the perfect combination of, this is kind of like old Nervosa, but I understand what they mean by branching out, doing something different, but still having the same core context. I was curious to you, what do you feel would be the best representation off the new album that says, like, we're Nervosa and this is where we stand now, this is how we rock?
I think the entire album is impossible to choose one song that can describe the new era of Nervosa, because this album, there is a lot of diversity, and it's very hard to choose one song. But example, Endless Ambition was the song that we choose to show the people first, what is coming. And this song we choose first exactly because of this reason that you say. It's because like represents what Nervosa always was, with something new, but just a bit of what is coming. And then the second single, that was a Seed of Death, we start to something that Nervosa never did before. It's something that I always wanted. I was working for something this for so many years, but I never could finish because with only one guitar, it's like a bit hard, I was never feeling that was good enough, let's say. But for this album, Elena brings this melody, amazing melody, and then we start to construct with the acoustic guitars and put more guitars and put the drums very strong there. And but at the same time, when the song starts, it's very punch in the face, very thrash death metal example, but with some melody example in the chorus, but the melody with the vocals as well. Even if it's extreme vocal, there is melody there. And also the third single, Jailbreak example, is totally different from the two ones. It's more like a mix of Motorhead with the Judas Priest and thrash metal. It's something crazy, and it's more party song. It's more happy thrash, let's say. And yes, and then now we can show to the people what is coming next. It's diversity and be free, for a square example, and do different things respecting the thrash metal base and roots.
I love how you brought up Jailbreak, because that was the one I wanted to bring up next. With, it looks like the party, it looks like the biker lifestyle. You've been vocal about this is more of a representation of don't let life kick you down. And one story that was pretty great is your trip trying to get to Waken with your stuff being misplaced, and then it's like, okay, how are we gonna get there? Well, there's no flights but this flight. It just seemed like a cluster. I'm trying not to cuss, you're a lady. I don't want to do that in front of you, but it got to a point where it's like they rained out, there was a delay, and you guys made it in time. I was curious, with moments like that in life and moments you remember, what were some key moments that you specifically always attribute to the writing of the album, and moments like that, like, wow, I was witnessing somebody going through this, and either I was there to help them, maybe they did it on their own, but a very specific moment in time where you saw it and you kind of have that example to base it on, like, no, you can make it.
It's like the meaning of the album title example. It's not only one meaning. So, and then we can describe example about the moment that the band is passing through, like some renovation again and again. And it's just never give up, keeping doing, and believing and trust in your dreams, in your potential. And at the same time, there is another meaning example about my perception from the social medias. Example, the art cover, it's a school taking the masking out, and it means like the people, like example through the social medias, they are always dressing pretty similar, they are reacting similar, they are using the same words, they are changing themselves just to be acceptable, to gain more likes, to gain more attention, to gain more views or whatever, you know. But this is not what they are. So Jailbreak example talks about to be proud of themselves, you know, like to be proud of who you are and enjoy the life. Example about jobs. You were in a job. Example, I came back to my past and I was totally unhappy working in a job that was earning a lot of money, but my happiness was in music. So it's like break the chains, you know, trust in your dreams, trust in yourself, and be happy because the life is so short, you know, and we should not lose time with these kind of things. Also, we have another song that is a bit connected with this. It's a sacrifice. This song talks about like the things in our life when you have to, when you have a dream and you want to conquer, hit this goal in your life. Example, you have to sacrifice things always. Don't exist you gain something without sacrifice. If you don't sacrifice, the sacrifice will be not to have decision, you know, you will lose it, you will lose opportunity. It's basically like that. So, and you have to understand that sacrifice, it's your decision, even if you don't decide, you know, it's your decision. Don't decide is a decision. And the consequence you have to accept, because there is no lose, like there is no gain without lose something. So this is the sacrifice talks about.
I always end the interviews with the most important question. But Mira, you were just a wealth of wisdom and knowledge now. I'm curious if it already came out. What's the best piece of advice somebody told you that it could have been serious? They could have just said it like ha ha ha, but it stuck with you. You always remember it from time to time, or when things get hard, you kind of just pull it back like, you know what, I remember when Chris said rent the tour bus, don't buy it, or something like that. You know, what is advice that was given to you that always stuck with you by somebody else?
I think the advice of the first drummer that she told me, you should be the singer. And now if I look behind, she was totally right. Like, and then this is like not only hitting my head all the time from now on, but also the people are saying this to me, like, why you never singing in Nervosa? Why you took so long time? I don't know to answer this basically. And it hit me and it hitting the people as well. So I think it's the thing of the moment, you know.
Yeah. And then the fan question, which I have to agree with. I was having trouble translating Nervosa myself. I got the Portuguese version. I got a wild version that said, you know, it was poison. There's one version that says it's nervous in English. So could you explain to us how you guys came up with the name and what the actual translation is for you?
Okay, first of all, there is one thing in Portuguese and in Latin language that we have a gender for the words, for the objects, for everything. So nervous, it's more like angry, you know, but it's a female word. It's an angry woman, example, or you know, it's nervosa for woman and nervoso for men. So it's like the feeling of being angry, nervous, you know, but nervous more in an angry way.
Indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, that was such a pleasure. That was so exciting. That was Mademoiselle Miss Prika of Nervosa. She is the leader. She is the one running the stuff. Even though, let's not put it out there without giving respect to the current lineup, because they've been such a blessing for helping us enjoy this music and sticking around. I'm going to tell you again, go check out Jailbreak, out September 29th. And you can see Nervosa on all social media. I would say follow Prika on her Facebook. That's the best way to get the news. But also you can go to Facebook, Instagram, Nervosa Thrash, and all the other avenues. Check them out on Spotify. And as always, Mademoiselle, thank you for your time. That was so encouraging and fun.
Thank you so much. I hope to see you again and very soon on the road or in live shows.
We'll see you in Philly. And as everybody else, be smart, be mindful, rock on. Check out Nervosa. And as always, Ninja out.
Hello, everyone. I'm Prika Amaral, the singer and guitarist of Nervosa. Our new album, Jailbreak, it's going out 29th of September. So stay tuned in our social medias and everything. There's linking coming, and also there is a video clip coming. Thank you so much for John the Ninja for this, and see you.
Woo, baby, you listen to John the Ninja. All your ears are about to go on a vacation. John the Ninja's got what you need.